Okay, so this is a very quick and simple video that explains how you can get started with this JavaScript library. Uhugrid is a very simple way and a performant way to achieve something that looks like a masonry layout or a mosaic layout. Okay, I'm going to show you some examples why it's performant. Also, the main purpose of this video is so that you can understand when it is useful or when it makes sense and when it does not, because there is no layout as a silver bullet layout. Okay, masonry is good for some things, but it is really bad for other things. The mosaic layout is also the same, and this one is also the same. There's no silver bullets, there's no one solution for all. And it is performance because it is not a one solution for all. It only does one thing and it does it well. Okay, so let's look at the layouts. So before I show you how the layout works, you just need to understand one small thing about how the library works under the hood. So by default, every time you refresh the page or you change the viewport width, or you flip the phone from portrait to landscape, anything that will request a layout change, or you request a layout change manually, the library will automatically generate different sizes according to how much free space you have, and it will choose the perfect choice that is pleasing to the eye. Okay, it will choose that, and it will glue together all the items. It will glue them all together. That is the default behavior. So later I'm going to talk about gaps. However, the library was, this is the niche I was talking about, it was made so that everything will glue together. Okay, so what are the options that we can have? You can specify the size of the columns. So for example, if I say I want the columns to be like 2, this is approximately 200 pixels. If I say 1, it's 100 pixels. This is useful when you go to bigger screens. So if you have a high quality images, you need to increase the size of the columns so that it can be partitioned in a nicer way, and it also can show the quality of your images. So by default, if you set this to 0 or undefined, the library will automatically detect the appropriate size up to 4K displays. So if you are targeting something that is above 4K, you need to do it manually. Okay, so I'm going to set this back to 1 because I'm just giving examples and I need something that is easy to explain. So the maximum height, if I set this back to 1, the maximum height will always be 1 because I set this to 1. If I set it to 2, it will generate a different number between 1 and 2. Okay, and every time I request a layout change, it will change that and it will respect these settings. And every time I change the size, I will get a different layout. Okay. And as you can see, it's very fast. It's real performance. So let's just see how easy it is to get started with this. So I'm going to use CodePen for this. All you need to know are two things. So you go to the parents and you give it a class of gallery. That's all you need to do. Another thing you have to do, of course, is all the children inside this parent, you need to give them a class of gallery item, and that's it. That is all you need to know. Of course, you can go and read the documentation, there are other things, but this is more than enough for you to achieve the results I just showed you. So I'm gonna, let's use some images. I'm gonna use lorem ipsum. So I'm gonna use, so we need a gallery item. Inside, you can have anything we want. Let's say I want to have an image. The source of the image is this lorem ipsum. I want it to be random, so I don't want to cache on requests so that I can get different images every time. let's bump the size. I'm going to say 1920 by 1080, and I think we're good to go. So let's generate 100 images, right? 100 images, that would be fun. Okay, so we have all our images. Now all we need to do, we need to inject the library. I'm going to use the cdn, so let's go to the install section. So we have plug and play, and also we have this main minified file. I'm going to explain the difference in a second. So let's use plug and play. Wow, this is a good image. Is that a different one? Did I delete something? Yeah, I forgot. No, I delete that. Okay, so let's inject our code, our JavaScript code. I'm not gonna use npm for now. Let me use just GitHub. Logs. By the time you are watching this, the npm version will be out. Alright, so as you can see, immediately it changes the layout. As you can see, if I make this smaller, as you can see, it randomly changes that to sizes that are pleasing to the eye. Of course, if you want more control, you will need to use this main minified file, and once you use it, you will have access to a function called uhu. Okay, it will be attached to the window object. And the other option, which is the option that I prefer, is via npm, and you import the function through the name of the package, which is uhugrid. And this is the option that I prefer. However, when you use this option, or the main minified option, you need to take care of rendering the layout yourself. By default, when you use the plug and play, the layouts will automatically be triggered, but if you use the others, you need to trigger them yourself, okay? And that makes sense. So before I close this video, there's one more thing that I need to talk about, which is the gaps between columns and rows. So the good news is we can add, so let me just quickly refresh. So we can add gaps between rows with no problems. We need to add them to the parents, which is the gallery. So row gap 1m, and as you can see, we just added a little bit of gap. We can add gaps to columns. However, column gap. Can you just type right? Column gap 1m. Oh. As you can see, we just added a little bit of gaps. How it is not, the library was not designed to work this way. Again, as I said, this is very niche. It might break your layouts one day, okay? I cannot give you guarantees. Yes, it is working now, but you never know. So for that reason, it is advisable to use something that looks like a gap. For example, you can use border with a white color. So you can use border left. So for example, if I show you here very quickly, so let's target every gallery item. So I can use, first of all, let's disable the column gap. So I can use border. Let's say I want to add a little bit of border to every item. So I'm going to add it to the right. I'm going to say 1m solid, I want it white. Okay. And I need to go to the container or the parent, and I'm going to add a little bit of gap, the same value I added. So I'm just going to say border, this time is going to be left, and 1m solid white. And yes, it looks nice. There's a little bit of aspect ratio mismatch. Of course, the width is not the same as the height, but this one is a lot more reliable. It's 100%. It will always work. It will never break the layouts. And yeah, another thing that I need to mention is the how much content can you fit in every item. So of course you can change the size, of course you can change the height. However, every time you request a change, they are random. You cannot control each item, or you cannot tell the item to fit the content. That's when masonry layout is a lot more appropriate. However, you can use other tricks that I'm going to show later. But again, this layout is not trying to do so many things at once, okay? It's just trying to focus on one solution and one solution only, but perfecting that solution and making it as performant as possible. There's a lot of changes that will come to this. You can just start this library so that you can get the notification. So the changes will be labeled here, upcoming changes. Yeah, so that's it. If you have any questions, if you have any solutions or changes you want to see, you can submit an issue or just comment below. And thank you for watching.